Brothers and sisters of the journey, there comes a time when the soul no longer wishes to be trapped in the cycle of survival. It begins to crave alignment, purpose, ascension, and in that sacred moment, you begin to feel something shift, deeply, subtly, undeniably. That shift is the call to the fifth dimension, and if you are hearing this now, you are not here by accident. You are the chosen one. The fifth dimension is not a place you travel to. It is a state of being, a higher frequency that your body, your mind, and your soul begin to align with. It is when you stop reacting and start responding, when you stop chasing and begin attracting. It is when pain no longer controls you, but teaches you, when fear no longer paralyzes you, but awakens you. Most will miss the signs. They are too distracted by noise, blinded by comfort, enslaved by ego. But the chosen ones, they feel it. They know something is different. They sense the pull. They feel the stretch. And even when it's uncomfortable, they keep moving forward. Let me tell you the truth. Transformation is not gentle. It will shake your foundation, break your illusions, and dissolve your attachments. But in return, it will give you wings. Wings to rise into the life your higher self already knows belongs to you. So listen closely, chosen one. If these signs resonate, you are being called into the fifth dimension, a reality of love, truth, and unlimited power. Here are the signs that your body is no longer the same. It is becoming light. It is becoming truth. It is becoming free. As your body and consciousness begin transitioning into the fifth dimension, one of the first and most profound signs is a deep disconnection from who you used to be. This isn't a small change. It's a complete unraveling of the old self. You begin to feel as though you're living in a world that no longer fits you. It's like waking up in a life that was perfectly tailored for a person you no longer are. And the more you grow, the more alien those past versions of yourself begin to feel. You may start to look at your old habits with curiosity and even disbelief. The things that once brought you comfort, junk food, gossip, shallow entertainment, toxic relationships, suddenly feel heavy and unfulfilling. It's as if your body is rejecting what no longer matches your frequency. What used to be fun now drains you. What once gave you excitement now feels hollow. This is not a loss. It's a revelation. The part of you that was wired to survive is stepping aside for the part of you that is ready to thrive. Your thoughts shift too. Old thought patterns like self-doubt, fear of judgment, or obsessive planning begin to dissolve. You become more present, more aware of your inner dialogue. You no longer just think. You witness your thinking. You start to realize how much of your life was lived reacting rather than consciously choosing. That realization is not easy. It can make you feel emotionally exposed, even lonely, because it forces you to outgrow parts of your identity that felt safe, even if they were limiting. This disconnection from the old self is not something you decide. It's something that awakens in you, and with it comes a kind of grieving. You grieve the parts of you that tolerated what was never meant for you. You grieve the dreams that belonged to a version of you that was operating from fear instead of purpose. You even grieve the people you once resonated with, friends, family, mentors, because the vibration you now carry starts to drift from theirs. But this detachment is not a betrayal, it's a realignment. You are being guided away from what is no longer true for you, and toward the unknown where your true self resides. You are not becoming a new person. You are remembering the person you were before the world told you who to be. As your consciousness elevates and your body begins resonating with the frequencies of the fifth dimension, logic alone no longer satisfies you. You begin to experience life through a completely different lens, one that is guided not by intellect or societal conditioning, but by a deeper, ancient wisdom rising within you. This is your intuition, the voice of your soul, and it is becoming the strongest compass you possess. Where once you relied on external opinions, advice, and systems to make decisions, you now find yourself turning inward. You start asking yourself not, "What should I do?" but "What feels right for me?" This is not a feeling of emotion or impulse. It is a quiet, powerful knowing that arises from stillness. It doesn't always make sense to others. It might defy logic, but it never fails you because it comes from a place untouched by fear or ego. Your intuition shows up in subtle but undeniable ways. You sense the energy of a person before they speak. You walk into a room and feel either harmony or resistance. You have dreams that guide you. You begin to recognize synchronicities that the old version of you would have dismissed as coincidence. You notice patterns in numbers, phrases, and moments that feel too perfectly timed to be random. This is your inner compass aligning you with your highest timeline. And as your intuition strengthens, so does your sensitivity. You become more attuned to the energetic quality of your surroundings. You can detect when someone is being inauthentic, even when their words are polished. You can feel when a decision is out of alignment, even if it's what others think is best. This level of discernment is not just mental clarity, it's energetic intelligence. You no longer analyze life only with your mind, you read it with your spirit. What's most fascinating is that this intuitive guidance doesn't come with panic, urgency, or fear. It comes as calm certainty. It whispers rather than shouts, and as you grow, you learn to quiet the noise of the outside world so that you can actually hear it. You make space for meditation, solitude, and presence, not to escape the world, but to tune into the frequencies of truth that are already flowing through you. This inner knowing often leads you away from the path others expect you to walk, and that can be terrifying. But over time, you begin to realize that while logic may help you survive in the 3D world, it is intuition that leads you to purpose in the 5D. The more you honor this inner compass, the more you begin to feel aligned, guided, and supported by something far greater than your own understanding. Your intuition doesn't just lead you, it transforms you. It peels away the layers of programming, fear, and doubt to reveal who you were always meant to be. As your consciousness begins to ascend into the frequency of the 5th dimension, one of the most mysterious and transformative shifts you experience is your relationship with time. The linear nature of time, as we have always understood it, past, present, future, begins to blur. It no longer feels like a straight road, but rather like a circle, or even a spiral. You begin to feel time instead of measure it. And this is not a trick of the mind. It is the result of a profound energetic realignment. Suddenly, hours can feel like minutes, and minutes can feel like hours. There are days when time seems to evaporate, when you look up and the sun has set, and you don't know how the day passed so quickly. Then there are moments where a single breath feels eternal, stretched out as if you are floating in between worlds. You find yourself forgetting what day it is, not from carelessness, but from detachment. Your body and soul are beginning to operate on a higher rhythm, no longer bound by the clock, but tuned to universal flow. In the 3D world, we are trained to obsess over time. We count every hour, chase deadlines, and carry the constant weight of not enough time. But in the 5D experience, time becomes fluid, like water, bending and reshaping around the energy of your awareness. The more present you become, the more time expands. The more anxious or scattered you are, the more time contracts. Time responds to consciousness, not calendars. This change in time perception is not just philosophical, it's biological. Your nervous system begins to relax into the now. Your mind begins to slow its racing thoughts. You stop living in anticipation or regret, and instead drop into the sacred fullness of this moment. The past no longer holds power over you. The future no longer frightens you. What matters is what you are being, right now, right here. You may also begin to feel more aligned with natural time, guided by the sun, the moon, your own circadian rhythm, rather than alarms and artificial schedules. Sleep patterns shift. Productivity no longer feels tied to effort, but to inspiration. You notice that when you act from alignment instead of pressure, things get done faster and more effortlessly. This is not coincidence. It's the collapse of linear resistance and the rise of energetic precision. You begin to realize that everything you need already exists, but your ability to receive it depends on your vibration, not on time. In the fifth dimension, manifestation is not just about setting goals and waiting. It's about aligning your frequency and collapsing time around your belief. Desires that once took years now come into your life with speed and grace, not because the world changed, but because you did. This altered perception of time may at first confuse you. You may worry that you're being forgetful or losing control, but in truth, this is the dissolution of time-based limitation. You are no longer living by the mechanical ticking of a clock. You are beginning to live by the sacred rhythm of divine timing. One of the most liberating and transformative signs that you are entering the fifth dimension is the way your relationship with your emotions begins to evolve, especially when it comes to emotional triggers. In the 3D world, emotions often dominate us. They erupt without warning, dictate our reactions, and frequently leave us feeling ashamed, drained, or regretful. But as your consciousness rises, a powerful shift begins to occur. You no longer become the storm. You become the observer of the storm. You start to notice your emotional reactions instead of getting lost in them. Where once a criticism would instantly make you defensive or an insult would rue in your entire day, you now feel a moment of pause. In that pause, something profound is born, awareness, that split. Second, awareness is evidence of your ascension. It means you're no longer reacting out of survival. You're responding from consciousness. This doesn't mean you stop feeling emotions. Quite the opposite. You feel more deeply, more authentically, but you are no longer enslaved by what you feel. Anger, sadness, jealousy, fear, they still arise. But instead of being consumed by them, you start to see them as messages. You understand that emotions are not enemies, they are guides, each one pointing to something unhealed, something that needs to be seen, heard, or released. When you're in the third dimension, emotions tend to get projected outward. You blame others, you seek validation, you fight, defend, or shut down. But in the fifth dimension, emotions are processed inwardly. You ask, why am I feeling this, instead of who made me feel this way? You begin to own your emotional landscape. That ownership is not weakness. It is the highest form of power. You also start to notice patterns. You become more emotionally intelligent, not just with yourself, but with others. You begin to see when someone else is projecting, reacting, or being triggered, not with judgment, but with compassion. You stop taking things personally. You understand that most people are speaking from their wounds, not their wisdom. This level of empathy is only possible when your own inner wounds have been brought into the light and transformed into awareness. With this newfound emotional maturity comes a sense of peace, not the peace that comes from avoiding life's chaos, but the peace that comes from not being pulled into it. You develop an inner stability, a calm center, that remains grounded even when the world around you becomes turbulent. And that stability is not fragile, it is born of the fire you have already walked through. When emotional triggers arise, instead of spiraling into reaction, you use them as opportunities to heal. You see the trigger as a mirror, not a weapon. You ask, what part of me is still hurting? What part of me believes this? What needs to be forgiven? And in that inquiry, you begin to alchemize pain into wisdom, conflict into clarity, and reaction into sacred response. This evolution of your emotional body is not only healing for you, it is healing for those around you. Because when you stop reacting with pain, you stop passing it on, you break the cycle. You become a space of safety and reflection for others simply by the way you show up. As your energetic body shifts into alignment with the fifth dimension, a profound transformation takes place within your relationship to external stimulation and social interaction. The distractions, noise, and constant mental chatter that once filled your daily life begin to lose their appeal. Where you once sought out the company of others to feel alive, validated, or entertained, you now begin to feel an intense craving for stillness, for solitude, for silence, not as absence, but as presence. This craving is not a sign of depression or withdrawal. It is the sacred calling of your higher self urging you to come home to yourself. It is a signal that your soul is no longer interested in performing or pretending. It's tired of noise that drowns out intuition, and tired of spaces that don't feel aligned. You start choosing to sit alone rather than force shallow conversations. You stop showing up in places that drain you. You begin to protect your energy like a sacred resource because now you feel how valuable it truly is. In stillness, you start to hear what you've been missing, your own voice, not the voice of your programming, not the voice of your ego, not the voice of society, but the voice of your essence. And this voice doesn't shout, it whispers, it hums in moments of quiet. It speaks through breath, through sensation, through the pulse of the present moment. That's why solitude becomes not lonely, but intimate. It is where you reconnect with your truth, strip away the masks, and return to the core of who you are beyond titles, roles, and expectations. Your nervous system begins to seek peace instead of adrenaline. Loud environments, dramatic people, and chaotic energies become unbearable. You may feel overwhelmed in crowds, sensitive to sounds, and drained by meaningless social engagements. This is not hypersensitivity, it's energetic discernment. You are beginning to sense the vibration of everything and everyone around you. And in that clarity, your soul naturally starts retreating from what feels chaotic, manipulative, or performative. Instead of stimulation, you seek depth. You are no longer interested in being busy just to feel productive. You would rather spend a full day in deep reflection, meditation, or nature than race through tasks with no soul. The world may not understand this shift. People might say you've changed, that you're distant, but what they don't realize is that you are not running away. You are finally sitting with yourself. You are recharging in a way that no external validation can offer. In solitude, you begin to access a different kind of power. The power of being undistracted, undisturbed, and undeniably connected to your inner world. You begin to realize that solitude is not isolation. It is preparation. It is where the seeds of your purpose take root. It is where healing begins, where clarity is born, and where transformation silently unfolds. It is in that sacred quiet that you begin to meet the higher version of yourself. The one who knows, the one who sees, the one who is becoming. You are not escaping the world. You are rising above its noise so you can re-enter it with intention. As your being transitions into the higher frequency of the fifth dimension, one of the most noticeable and often misunderstood experiences is the shift that occurs within your physical body. Spiritual ascension is not just a mental or emotional journey. It is also a deeply cellular, energetic, and biological process. Your physical vessel, the very body you inhabit, must adjust in order to hold, channel, and integrate these higher frequencies of consciousness. And with this upgrade comes a wide range of physical symptoms, often unexpected, sometimes intense, but always meaningful. These symptoms may vary, but they tend to defy traditional medical explanation. You may feel extreme fatigue even after a full night of rest, as if your body is running marathons in another dimension. That's because it is. Your body is recalibrating, detoxifying, and releasing dense energy that has been stored for years, sometimes lifetimes. You may feel as though your body is heavy one day and light the next. These are energetic fluctuations as your frequency rises and your system tries to find equilibrium. Other signs include headaches, pressure in the forehead, or tingling at the crown of your head, indicators that your third eye and crown chakras are opening. You may experience ringing in the ears or sudden sensitivity to sound, which happens as your inner senses begin to awaken. Your body is no longer just processing physical data. It's becoming receptive to vibrational information, tuning into subtle frequencies you were once unaware of. Some experience digestive changes, strange cravings, or food sensitivities as the gut, the second brain, is cleared and rebalanced. You may find that foods you once enjoyed now feel heavy or intolerable. This isn't just dietary preference, it's vibrational alignment. Your body is beginning to crave what nourishes your light body, not just your physical form. Even water begins to feel different, more essential, more sacred, because hydration now supports not just your organs, but your energetic field. Sleep becomes a journey in itself. You might struggle with insomnia, or you may sleep deeply and wake up feeling as if you've been traveling. And you have. In dream states, your soul may be visiting other dimensions, integrating lessons, or connecting with guides. Vivid dreams, lucid visions, and a sense of timelessness during rest are all signs that you are operating beyond the 3D body. What once seemed like mere dreams now feel like messages, initiations, or even training. There may also be moments of spontaneous release, emotional purging, tears without reason, or waves of grief, joy, and love that rise from nowhere. These are energy blockages being cleared from your nervous system. They are not breakdowns, they are breakthroughs. Your body is releasing old traumas, ancestral patterns, karmic imprints, things buried so deep the conscious mind may not even know they exist. But your body knows, and your body is wise enough to let go when your soul is ready. Perhaps one of the most profound signs is a growing sensitivity to energy. You begin to feel when environments, people, or even digital content are draining or uplifting. This sensitivity can make you want to withdraw, rest, or protect your space. You might feel like your skin is thinner, your emotions more raw, but this is not weakness. It is the development of energetic integrity. Your aura is expanding, your chakras are recalibrating, and your DNA is waking up to its multidimensional potential. What you are experiencing is not illness, not dysfunction, not something to fear. It is transformation on a cellular level. Your body is not breaking down. It is being rebuilt to carry higher light codes, to serve as a bridge between the earthly and the divine. As you elevate into the consciousness of the fifth dimension, an extraordinary shift begins to occur, not just within you, but around you. Without trying, without forcing, your very presence begins to impact others. This is not because of what you say or do, but because of who you are becoming. You start to radiate a frequency that reflects truth, purity, and clarity, and this energy naturally acts as a mirror for those around you. People sense that something is different about you, even if they can't explain it. Some are drawn to your presence as if it soothes them, calms them, or opens something within them they didn't even know needed to be touched. They feel safer around you, more honest, more willing to be real, because your energy gives permission. You hold space without judgment. You listen differently. You see beyond the surface, and people feel this deeply, even in silence. But the mirror works both ways. Just as some are uplifted by your light, others may be triggered by it. Not because you are doing anything wrong, but because your authenticity challenges their masks. Your peace confronts their chaos. Your emotional maturity highlights their reactivity. Your inner freedom reflects back the ways they are still in bondage, and often they don't know how to process that reflection. So they may resist, pull away, or even try to project their discomfort onto you. This, too, is part of your awakening. The mirror you hold is not about being better than anyone. It is about illuminating truth. Your growth stirs something in others because it reminds them of what they've buried or forgotten within themselves. When people are not ready to meet those parts of themselves, they may misinterpret your light as a threat instead of an invitation, and that's okay, because being a mirror is not about being liked, it's about being real. It's about allowing your presence to become a quiet revolution in the hearts of those you encounter. You may notice that people begin to confide in you. Strangers tell you their life stories. Friends seek your guidance. Family members ask for your perspective, not because you have all the answers, but because your energy communicates something deeper than words: safety, presence, and non-judgment. You are becoming an anchor of light, a reminder that another way of living, feeling, and being is not only possible, but already happening. And yet, being a mirror can also feel lonely. You may feel misunderstood, especially by those who only knew the older versions of you. You may long for deeper conversations, spiritual connections, and relationships that meet you in your truth. This longing is not weakness, it is your soul calling in its soul tribe. The more you embody your authentic self, the more you naturally repel what is false and attract what is real. You don't chase alignment, it finds you through the resonance you carry. As a mirror, your journey becomes a form of silent leadership. You don't have to preach, teach, or convince. You simply live with integrity, and in doing so, you inspire transformation. Your healing becomes medicine for those silently seeking it. Your presence becomes a living transmission of the fifth dimension, a space where others begin to awaken, not through pressure, but through proximity to your light. You are not just walking a new path, you are lighting the way for others to follow in their own time, in their own way. So if these signs are speaking to your soul, you are not imagining them, you are not alone. You are awakening, you are remembering who you truly are beyond the physical, beyond the ego, beyond the illusion. Your body is not just changing, it is ascending. Your soul is not just searching, it is returning. You have been chosen, not by chance, but by resonance. You are here to lead by example, to awaken by embodiment, and to rise not above the world, but within it, with clarity, purpose, and peace. This journey will not always be easy. It will challenge everything you thought you knew, but it will also reveal everything you've always been. The time has come to stop doubting and start embracing. The time has come to stop dimming and start radiating. You are not becoming the light, you already are the light. Welcome to the shift. Welcome to the awakening.